Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Sen a Gay Sequel. Yes, I thought I'd never make another video in English and I thought I'd never make another video about this game, but well, that seems to have changed, so I'd like to try continuing where I left off the last time. Hoping that my save still works as I've set back my whole computer and reinstalled the operating system. So I'm not sure if everything had worked with the save files as it should be, but nevertheless, let's get started. I should add here that I have no idea how I spoke the different characters, so I might change that or just read it. We'll see how that works out. But now let's start it. I've rambled now nearly 1 minute and 15 seconds without starting, so I guess we should change that. I'm going to do it, dude. Going to hook up with the crazy twins? Haha, no. Also, I think only one of them is a little crazy. I'm going to resign from the thread, or whatever it is that you do to formally quit. Oh, last week I think kind of convinced me it was the right thing, but I wanted to think it over a bit this week. I don't know why it feels like such a big step. It's been a big part of your college experience up until now, Chico. Of course it would feel like a big step. But last Friday, hanging out with you instead of going to the big party, it just felt good, you know. And thanks, by the way. Beforehand I was worrying that I'd feel guilty or like I was missing out, but mostly I just felt relieved at not attending. I'm sorry. And more than that, I think I was more worried I'd disappoint Steve than anything, but then I realized it shouldn't matter what he thinks. And that's very true. Like I know he has the best interests of the house in mind and all, but I hate living in this weird constant fear of getting lectured by him. Dude, Chico, you don't have to explain yourself to me. I'm glad you're doing what feels right to you. I feel the same way, actually. Like it was a great thing, but I also kind of don't fit in. Adam nods. Thanks, dude. Can you come with me to talk to Steve? This is stupid, but it's a bit scary somehow. I don't really understand why it would be, but well, I'll take you to Steve like Chris took me to the Q&A, Chico. Fair enough. Thanks. To my surprise, Chris and James are sitting in the common room, next to a strangely stiff Tom. The room is otherwise empty. Hey dude, surprised to see you here. Chris and James stand and James smiles at us. Oh, James had a free evening and I thought you might want to see a movie with us or something. I wasn't sure how best to find you. Well, you found us, and that sounds like fun. I look over at Adam. But I think we have something that we have to do. Thanks for the invite though, maybe next time? Oh, sure. It was nice seeing you two again. They head out and Tom shakes his head. Good save, bro. What? I wouldn't want to spend time with and here I'm not going to read that. He's trying to insult their sexual orientation in a very, I'd like to say childish way, but even a child would know better than behaving like he does. So well, I mean, if you want, you can read it. I mean, it has stars between, but it's pretty clear what he is going to say. And it takes me a second to process the words, but when I do it, it suddenly feels like my vision is swimming and I'm frozen in place, unable to offer a response. Uh, because he doesn't know that we're gay too, so he thinks he's safe with his discrimination around us, but that's not the case. And even Adam in this version here of ZAGS is a straight dude, but I'm not sure how you would say that in English. In Germany, it's like having the heart at the right place, das Herz am rechten Fleck haben. He's just perfect, and he steps in when he sees discrimination, whether he is actually discriminated or even if he is not affected by it, but he just steps up, and that's very important. Dude, what the fuck did you just say? I'm just saying. It was like they were stripping me with their eyes the entire time. It's disgusting. Oh, you'd probably wish that, but that would never happen. Not because, well, whatever, but because of how he acts, and I highly doubt that anyone would like having anything with someone who behaves like he behaves, at least in my opinion. Dude, don't tell me you're okay with. He stops and stares at Adam. Wait, that was your roommate, wasn't it? Jesus Christ, it's contagious. Is that why you and Carlos hang out all the time? You're having sex now too? Sticking your cocks in each other's. And there, right here is another problem, because every time with a gay or bi or pan or whatever people, it seems to be that they're reduced completely to a sexual relationship, not to a romantic relationship, which I don't understand, and they always seem to be reduced to anal sex. But there are a lot of other ways to have, let's say, gay sex, or maybe they don't even have sex, and in pretty much all cases the relationship is not built around sex, but it's built around a romantic relationship. But well, that's quite difficult to explain to people like him, obviously. I'm straight, dude, but this is not okay. You can't say stuff like that. Tom. Tom seems to ignore her. Well, I'm glad I've never known any, and again his statement, in my life. He looks at me, seemingly searching for agreement, but something in my expression must give my feelings away. Wait, you? Dude, shut up. Zachary Thomas, you get over here right now. He storms out the door. Eva looks at me and seems like she's going to say something, but instead shakes her head and disappears after him. Dude, are you okay? Dude, Steve, do something about that. Steve looks between me and Adam. Look, Carlos, I don't really care if you're into dudes or chicks or whatever. Thank you. But maybe, can you maybe not make it a thing? And here we have another interesting problem, and sorry that I interrupt always, but that is just how I make my videos. I'm not necessarily only reading the text, but I always give my own remarks. If you don't like them, just skip them. Or I recommend playing it by yourself, because it might be a more interesting experience if you play it yourself. But at the other side, what I wanted to talk about here is when straight people like come with their boyfriend or girlfriend, then that's not a problem. No one would ever notice, because it's like just what everyone does. If, for example, a boy comes with his boyfriend or a girl comes with her girlfriend, Then suddenly it appears to be a problem, and everyone is, can't you be just not showing who you are, and can you just, well, do that behind closed doors? But all they do is coming with their partner to an event, for example, or holding hands in public or something, which heterosexual heterosexual people do all the time. So that's very hypocritic, in my opinion, of that behavior. And even more, it's a discrimination, and it shouldn't happen. What? There's a lot of guys here who would have a real problem with things if you were gay. Well, then that's their problem, not my problem. Dude! And we really don't need that right now. It's not of you to decide who can be gay and when they can be gay. I'd highly recommend that you treat other people like you'd like to be treated yourself. And well, sometimes it's hard to not use discriminational language myself, but I'll try. Dude. Robert was maybe a little more vocal about it than most, and that caused a lot of tremor, but he pauses, seemingly trying to find the right words. Well, there are no right words to, like, wrap a remark like he did. You just never should have said that remark. Can't you pretend to like women? After last semester with Robert and Elliot, well, that is what happens with stupid people. That is not what happens because of people being who they are. I can't believe you're doing this, dude. Robert almost killed your best friend, and don't you dare, Adam. Oh, we do dare. Now you want to ignore the blatant homophobia that, and here is the dot dot dot, but in my opinion that actually caused the incident last year, at least in history last year. It's probably longer on my channel between the two Let's Plays, but that's another story. And if people would be more accepting and more open, especially open-minded, a lot of the violence and the problems would never have occurred. So, yes. No. You don't get to come in here and tell me what's good for the house. You ditched us on the most important day of the most important week this semester and convinced Carlos to ditch us too. He never convinced us to ditch anyone. We are an adult and we can make our own decisions, which we do. And blaming Adam for what we did is completely stupid. You've checked out of this group, Adam, this community, so don't you freaking dare to ignore the blatant homophobia that caused this mess in the first place. You want to talk about Elliot? Let's talk about Elliot. Let's talk about how he knew his place and cared about this family. Well, if it would be accepting an open family like one would wish to have, then all of that would never happen. So probably it's good that Elliot did not come back, in my opinion, because it might, if I see what happened here, the same thing might happen again. Maybe he was gay, maybe he wasn't, which he was, in fact, but that's another story. But he never put himself ahead of this community. He was loyal, committed, did what was the best for all of us. And that's the completely wrong way of looking at it. If you have stupid people, you need to change the people. You do not need to make people pretend like, oh, but I can't show who I am. I need to play a role and act a certain way because it's the best. At least I'm hoping to convince myself that that's the best, but because it never is. Well, if you knew Elliot half as well as I did, you'd know he'd want us to move past what happened And part of that is not stirring up trouble again, staying in the closet. You're a coward, Steve. If you pronounce it like that. It's an insult, but in that case, it deserved one. Better than a quitter. That means better than someone who leaves the thread, I guess. It's in English. In German, it would be Bruderschaft. And at least in Germany, that are mostly right-wing people, excessively right-wing often. And well, that's quite good pictured here how they would behave in Germany, at least in most cases. But on the other hand, in Germany, it would be almost impossible for someone with dark skin to get into such a thread. I don't know how that is in America, but here in Germany, someone tried to in several different. He was on the top of his class. He had very perfect grades, but dark skin color, and that was why he was rejected in, I guess, in all of them except one. I'm not 100% sure of that, but you could look it up in your favorite search engine if you're interested. Well, but I'm just delaying the story here, so I guess I should get back to the story. I knew you were, and again an insult, and Robert, the one who caused all the problems with the what is here described as the incidents last year was he put someone into the hospital, the guy on the right here. He attacked him violently because he attacked Elliot because, as far as I know, because Elliot was gay. He laughs and Adam steps in front of me. Prove it. What are you doing back here? Relax, I'm just here to get my stuff. It might be best if you do it quickly, Robert. For once, a true statement. Whatever. See you two ass-faces later. Steve, what the hell? Someone couldn't mail his stuff to him? Are you finished? Adam makes a frustrated noise and storms out the door. Well, I guess I follow Adam and look after him. I'd like to confront him, but there's no sense in doing that. There's no way he will see what he did, so I'll go after Adam. I follow him outside, where he's pacing around the basketball court area. Chico. He shakes his head, then comes up to me, places his hands on my shoulders and stares me in the eyes. Are you okay, dude? Mostly right now I'm worried about you. Adam laughs at that for some reason and drops his hands. And I'm worried about you. Sorry, that was a shit show, and Tom he's been frustrated lately, but that is not an excuse. Dude, you're taking this a lot better than I thought you would. With how you feel about Elliot and Robert and that. It hits me suddenly. The combination of my memories of that night with Elliot and the weight of Tom's words, and I stumble against the steps, tripping over them. Dude! Adam moves for me, but isn't fast enough. I break my fall badly, and pain shoots up my arm as I land on my hand. Oh shit. Adam sets me on the front steps. Dude, that didn't sound good. Well, it sure doesn't feel good, Chico. Can you move it? Yes, but it hurts when I do. Dude, we should take you to the hospital. No, we are not casting my arm again. And if it's broken and sets wrong, you're going to have bigger problems than not being able to swim for a few weeks. Dude, come on. Very responsible dude here. Oh, and I realize I'm starting to call him dude, something I'd like to avoid at all times, but, well, I guess the company, or let's say differently, the people I have around me is just, have a little influence on the way I speak. And I'd like to use this point to apologize for my bad English, spelling mistakes, problems, or if I go back to German language, I'm not a native English speaker, so I apologize for all of the language problems. The hospital takes some x-rays and I sit with Adam in the waiting room, waiting for the results. Dude, my stupid wrist had better not be broken. Dude, are you okay? I will be if my wrist isn't broken. Okay, stop it. Steve was way out of line. You haven't seen Robert since that night, and Tom he shakes his head. So don't give me that. Talk to me, dude. I don't know. I kind of stopped following most of what happened after Tom started ranting about Chris and James. Dude, I don't know. We sit there in silence for a bit. Well, if you want to talk at some point, you know I'm here for you, right? Yeah. Thanks, dude. A nurse walks up with some paperwork and what looks like a prescription. I read over them with Adam. Well, that's good. I'll take your word for it. It's just a relatively minor sprain. Rest, ice, painkillers, no cast. I guess that's a relief. Although it says here that you can put a splint on it if you want. No, no way. It might help it heal better. No. Okay, let's fill this prescription for some painkillers at least, and I'll walk you back to your room. By the time we get back to the house, it's after dinner. Fortunately, we don't run into either Steve or Tom on the way up to my room. Adam sets the bottle of pills on my desk and leans against my bed. You okay? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go, but if you... Is Steve right? What? Oh. No, Steve is not right. Chico. It's not any of his business who you date or how you come out or if you come out, dude. Except it kind of is. No, it's not. No, dude, no. You saw how Tom reacted? Yes. Well, but that's his problem, not yours. Tom was completely terrible. And I don't want to be causing any trouble. You're not causing trouble. If they like to behave like, well, dumb people, trying to avoid words that contain S or something like that as an insult, then that's their problem, not yours. And you can go out from the thread, like quit it, and you don't have to deal with them ever again. So what's your problem? Listen to yourself, dude. Why are you so worried about this anyway? It's not really any of your business either. He stops and falls quiet. You're right. This really isn't my business, especially given I'm basically leaving this group anyway. But dude, Carlos, because Adam cares about you. Well, next sentence. I care about you. And you're really not okay right now if you're thinking like this. I don't want you feeling like this is your fault in any way. If Steve has a problem with you being gay, that's his problem and his fault, not yours. I sigh and flop down on my bed, staring up at the ceiling. But it would be easier. Dude. It's funny, isn't it? No one would bat an eye if I was dating someone like Eva. Some girl strutting her around this place like some prize. I'm not sure that's fair to Eva, dude. But I'm not even talking about sex. Like if I was dating Chris and wanted to bring him to dinner or something, that would be somehow weird. That's why Steve is full of shit. Chico, it would be weird and problematic. Adam only nods, staring at me strangely. Okay, what? Nothing. Dude, you clearly want to ask me something. You like him, don't you? What? Chris? You could have used anyone as an example. He just came to mind. And you've been spending a lot of time with him over the past few months. Dude, so you like him, don't you? And for that playthrough, I'm going to say yes, we do. Adam nods. I wait for him to continue, but he doesn't. Okay, just okay. You told me to ask what I wanted to ask you. I guess I was kind of hoping for a, oh, he likes you too. Adam shrugs. I don't know if he does or not, dude. You'll have to ask him for yourself. I just know he likes hanging out with you. I should get some rest. Do you want me to bring you anything? You haven't eaten dinner. I think I'm just going to take one of those pills and go to bed early. Well, Come by if you need to talk tonight, okay? Seriously, wake me up. I'm not going to wake you up in the middle of the night, dude. And that's another problem. I know that from some people in my life, when I say to them, you can always call me or come to me, and if you have a problem, and I'll take the necessary time and try to help you. That's exactly how I mean it, and that's here exactly the way how Adam means it. But the people never come. They never ask. They never let accept help. They prefer that it went bad or worse, or and nobody helps them, and they have problems they can't solve themselves, and maybe go into a depression or maybe something lighter. But yes, it could be so more easy if they'd ask for help, or if they just accept an offer for help that has already been given to them. But do that if you need to, otherwise I'll check in on you in the morning. You don't have to check on me like I'm an invalid, dude. Okay. I'll come by in the morning and we can get breakfast or something then. Fine. Adam stares at me a bit before grabbing his coat. Good night, dude. Night, Chico. I lie in bed for what feels like hours, Tom words replaying over and over in my head before sleep claims me. Saturday, February the 3rd, I guess 2007, it was the first to read it. I'm woken up Saturday morning to a knock on my door. The sharp pain in my wrist when I push myself up in bed brings the memories from yesterday flooding back. I walk to the door and open it. Chico, I'm fine. I stop as I find myself staring into Eva's eyes. Sorry to wake you up. Can we talk? I nod, stepping aside and swallowing through the lump in my throat. Is she here to cuss me out? Did she feel like I was somehow deceiving her? She brushes past me into the room and I can smell her perfume. She stands there for a second, staring away from me before turning toward me. I wanted to apologize. For what? For Tom. Oh. That sounds promising, at least. He's been under a lot of stress recently, and I know that doesn't excuse anything he said, because I don't think anything can excuse what he said, but it's okay. She shakes her head and sits in the chair at my desk. No, it's not. You know Tom's mom left his dad when he was in middle school, right? He has mentioned that before, yes. He doesn't really have a good relationship with his dad, right? He doesn't. Has he ever mentioned why she left? It's never really come up. His dad drank too much. She told him off a few times for it, but one day when he came home completely trashed, she'd had enough, and threw out all the booze in her house. Poured it down the toilet. He threw a fit, of course, got violent. She left the next day with Tom and his sister. So when Steve told him he was drinking too much, really drinking too much, I think he was afraid he'd become his dad. That's sorry. I'm not telling you this because I want you to accuse what he said to you, and I promise you I've given him hell for it, which I actually believe you, but she looks at me searching in my eyes. You're gay, right? Sorry that was rude of me. It shouldn't matter really, but I think he was just in a mindset where he needed some stability and reassurance, I guess. And when he couldn't find it, he lashed out. She stands. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have come. It sounds like I'm just trying to cover and make excuses for him. It does, but maybe you're just being a good girlfriend for him. I mean, kind of true, but I guess she really means it, so I'll say I think you're trying to help me understand him. Not to excuse him, but to at least explain why. She stares at me and nods. I know that doesn't make anything better, and I'm going to get him to apologize to you properly, but you know how stubborn he is. Yeah. But he didn't really mean it. I hardly doubt that, and even if I wouldn't, that don't make it better. He's just uncomfortable, I suppose, because he's never really had to get used to the idea, but I know he can. I don't know if that's any better, but thank you anyway. I suppose it's not. We're silent for a bit and Adam walks into the room, looking surprised to see Eva. Oh, hi, Eva. I was just leaving. Goodbye, Carlos. What was that about? Nothing. Why don't you tell him? Okay, I won't pry, but I hope it was a good nothing. He tosses me what looks like a wrapped breakfast sandwich. I move to catch it and pain shoots through my arm. The sandwich hits me in the chest. Crap, sorry, wasn't even thinking. I'd ask you how your wrist was doing, but it looks like it's not doing great. I pick the sandwich up from the floor and dust it off. Good thing it's wrapped. Yeah, I forgot about it this morning and put weight on it in the bed. You should get a splint for it, dude. No, no more things on my arm. He grabs the container of painkillers. Then at least take some of these. It'll help the inflammation. I take one and he leans against the wall, chewing his sandwich while I sit at my desk and eat. You should ask him out, dude. What? Chris, you should ask him out. Chico. He just stares at me. Haha, very funny. I'm serious, dude. Chico, did you forget what happened yesterday? I don't see how any of that is relevant to you asking Chris out, and I don't see that either. Let's look. We have a relationship of 94 and we have a studiousness of 55. That seems to be quite good to me, and with Adam we have 100. That looks good. How Tom exploded to at the mere suggestion that Chris and James were gay. At me, what Steve said. Sure. So you're going to let what other people think keep you from being happy? Chico. Because that's what you just said, and he's right again. He's almost always right. The most interesting character of the whole game, in my opinion. Dude, it's not that simple. Oh yes, it is. You gave me advice that basically amounted to don't feel obligated to the threat if it makes you unhappy. So, don't feel obligated to keeping up this facade if it makes you unhappy. I want to retort or making a snarky comment or anything to avoid acknowledging he has a point, which he does. Well, he likes James anyway. What chance do I have? You know, when Nicole asked me out, it surprised me. Not only because I never realized she liked me, but also because I hadn't realized how much I liked her. But you two broke up, and you met her for lunch over the break and it was awkward. Whatever, dude. I'm not going to tell you what to do, I'm just saying give it a chance, or take a chance, or whatever. He throws his sandwich wrapper in my trash can. And I think it's time I talk to Steve. Give me a second to finish eating and I'll come with you. It's okay, dude, I can do it. But maybe I'll catch you later today. I nod and watch him walk out of the room, thinking his thoughts over. I finish eating my sandwich and decide to head to the gym to try and try my head. I get changed, grab some gym clothes and head to the gym. I'm walking down the student center hallway toward the gym when I spot a familiar face. Carlos, heading to the gym. I just stand there staring at him, memories from last night flooding back into my mind. You okay, honey? Yeah, Robert came back, which is reminding me of Elliot, and Steve wants me to hide the fact that I'm gay, so I don't. Oh shit, what did I just do? Malik grins and then laughs. Well, that sounds like a lot, but congratulations on coming out to me. First time? He waits for me to finish, but I only manage to shake my head. Well, congratulations anyway. I'm actually headed to the Q&A now. If you and your newfound gayness want to join me or want to talk some more about Steve, I am going to run. And Q&A is the last thing I need right now. Well, have a nice run then, and I hope the run helps. I'll see you later, I'm sure. He leaves and I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. That felt strangely liberating, but also terrifying. The gym is fairly empty. I run on a treadmill until I feel like my lungs are on fire, but I keep seeing Elliot's face. I increase the speed, and press onward in an attempt to forget. I stumble off the treadmill a while later, my legs feeling like jelly, with the pain in my chest offering a welcome distraction from my thoughts. I chug water from the water fountain for a bit, then try and walk laps around the room to cool down. I hope things went okay with Adam. I wish he'd shown up here, though. I grab a quick shower in the locker room and decide to head to the closest campus food location for lunch, which ends up being the dining hall. The dining hall is fairly busy. The staff seem to just be setting out the lunch items. I grab a plate and walk down the line, inspecting the selections. Why does everything contain chocolate? Carlos, Nate and Jake are standing behind me holding plates. Oh, hi. It's nice running into you. Just getting started? Yeah. Well, you're welcome to join us if you'd like. I nod, unable to find any other word at the moment, and return my attention to the buffet food. I thought they stopped doing themed lunches. I like chocolate. Babe, you like pretty much every food. Well, I like chocolate particularly much then. You're adorable. And that's true. I watch as Jake loads up a plate with what seems to be broken chocolate bars with marinara on top, spaghetti noodles topped with melted chocolate, and something labeled white chocolate chicken mole. You know, they could have made normal spaghetti and normal mole, and then just had chocolate bars for dessert. But this is much more interesting. I can't disagree with the interesting part. Can you help me get some salad? I'm a little afraid to check that section out. The salad bar, at least, seems to be relatively normal, except for the addition of a bottle of chocolate syrup near the dressings. Let's see how much we can fit on a plate. Will we be getting Jake too much food? I've never seen such a thing as too much food for him. Minigame salad stacking. Let's just... Oh... I should have read what I need to do here. That looks like a pretty good plate. Let's go find Jake. Because I thought it would be another game that I knew how it worked. So I just skipped it. But I don't remember how that worked. So that was a bit of stupid from me. Is the salad chocolate too? Because I'm not sure how well that would work. Maybe if it was shaved chocolate on the lettuce or something. It's just plain salad, babe. Carlos and I each got your plate. Oh, thank you. The meal is pretty uneventful. They head back toward Nate's room afterward, and I consider what to do with my afternoon. Play games in the computer lab, try the Q&A room, go to the game room. Guess we try. The game room has a few people in it. I guess I can't play foosball anyway, since I didn't bring anyone with me. I settle down at a pinball machine instead and play for a while. By the time I look at the clock again, it's time for dinner and I consider my options. I grab a sandwich and head back to my room, managing to avoid being accosted by any brothers in the house on my way there. I sit at my computer and start the IM list. Chris, James and Elliot all appear to be online. I stare at Elliot's name, somehow dreading the conversation that's sure to follow. Well, then, just do that. Hey, good to hear from you again. How are things in the frat? Pretty good. Although I'm sure you hear about it from Steve already. A little. I heard some stuff about Russia this semester. How was it? It was good. Didn't spend as much time here as I should have. But I think we got some new pledges. And why aren't you talking about what you wanted to talk about? That's good at least. Some stuff happened with Tom at the party. Oh yeah, Steve said some stuff went down. Not sure I want to talk about it. That's fine, but I'm sad to have missed it anyway. The entire week, not just the big party. I guess the house always felt like the place I belonged, you know? Unlike Adam. Speaking of which, how is Adam doing? Good. He officially left the frat though. That's sad, but it's not too surprising. It seemed especially late the last semester that it wasn't really his thing. Hopefully you two are staying close though. Yeah. Is it weird to say that I really miss you? I miss you too, Elliot. more than I probably should. No, I miss you too. Sometimes I just think like, never mind. I stare at the words on the screen, trying to think of how to respond. Why can't I tell him about how I feel about him? Hell, why can't I even come out to him? Then he's typing again and the moment is lost. So tell me about your classes. Or are you ditching most of them again this semester? Elliot and I end up talking for a long time. Before I know it's late, and Elliot says it's time for bed. Sunday, the 4th of February. I wake up early Sunday morning wondering why I'm feeling so tired until I remember the events over the past couple of days. I carefully sit myself up in bed, making sure to be careful of my wrist and take a painkiller before sitting at my desk and considering the day. I can't avoid the house and Steve forever. I should at least go down and see what there is for breakfast. There's a knock at the door and I get it, dreading the inevitable conversation with Steve, Tom, or whoever it is. Hey dude, and that was just obvious. Oh, I wasn't expecting you. I didn't see you yesterday after my talk with Steve, so I just wanted to make sure you were doing okay. And I brought you another breakfast sandwich. I tried to come up with a witty retort, but apparently I'm still not feeling so great. Thanks, Chico. I'm okay, I guess. I step aside and he hands me a sandwich. He leans against my bed as I sit at my desk and eat. How was your conversation? How was your conversation with Steve? Pretty good, actually. I think he was mostly relieved that I had actually made a decision. I'm surprised Steve wasn't more, let's call it, upset or something. Oh, did you see him in the afternoon? No, I tried to avoid the house yesterday. Ah, that makes sense. You mean when I talked to him? He shrugs. I think he just didn't like that I was trying to have it both ways, I guess. In his mind, I wasn't committed like I should have been, but was still trying to take advantage of the perks. And I guess that is a sure sign that I'm recording long enough, so I'll end the recording here, even if it's in the middle of them both talking, but I need a little break just for my voice and for my mind, so I'll come back with the next recording in 2 weeks, I suppose, maybe earlier, maybe not, we'll see that. Have a nice day and many thanks for watching.